Joining our lunch and learn today. Hello, can everyone hear me? I want to thank you for joining our lunch and learn. My name is Brandon Roberts. I'm one of the sport managers of our sport team at Decisions, and I'll be hosting today. I'll let a few people join in, and then we'll get started with our first pre-submitted question of the day. Well, actually, since we have a few people here, we can start with questions and we'll wait for that submitter to get in. Hello, Jeremy and Rita. Did you guys have any questions or need help with something in the product? If you do, it's like, yep, Q&A. What is the difference between save entities step and batch insert steps? Is the latter just faster? Are there batch steps like this for list that make, yep, exactly. Yeah, the batch insert steps are for inserting like a batch of like records into it, like a table versus like a save entity step that actually does a save to that. Batch entity step is made for bigger commits that you need to do versus like a save entity step where you can specify save entity steps will save data for like a specific like entity data type that you can select versus a batch insert, which actually does like an insert into a table. So it's more so batch inserts for bigger commits that you need to do. Save entities as if you need to, save stuff of a certain type, and that might not be like a huge number. Mm. Okay, yep, same question in the chat. Let's see. Yeah, let's see. Looks like Rita has another question. She's raised her hand. Let's see. Yep, you should be able to come off mute.
Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Yep. So I just wanted to follow up on like the latter part of that. So are there, batch steps in place for either like delete entities or just list mapping that can kind of process large amounts of data faster? The same way for like save entities?
So let me double check real quick. I know we have the batch insert. I think we do have some other batch steps. Oh, looks like we only have batch insert. We only have the batch insert entities for some other steps there. But I don't think we have like a batch for mapping or anything. For like if you're mapping like a large amount of items, then there'd be like the list mapping step.
Mhm.
That would be one of the things that we're using. Like the data that you're using, are you using this like from a CSV item, like a CSV, or is
A
this like
JSON.
JSON? Let's see. There's an item mapping. CSV to list mapping. Okay, so you can use like the CSV list mapping. Since it's like a JSON object, we have like a JSON serialized step.
Mhm.
Normally what I do, or normally what we do for that is like we'll use like the JSON serialized step to serialize that into like a CSV, right? A single string, then map that into a CSV list of mapping step and then map that out to whatever type that you need to do here. So let me share my screen to my decisions instance right here. I don't have a sample JSON file to actually show you this, but you grab your JSON file, or you can serialize into a type, or you can serialize into a type. I can just select like a string output. By default, it's already a string output, but I can just do string output here. And then I can map that into a CSV to list mapping step. which will do that. We can like call it, we can call it as a like a CSV type. Well, actually, no, this is the wrong way to do it. So JSON serialized to a data structure type, and we get that list of that type out, or that string typing out. And then there's which step is that? CSV to list mapping, CSV to object mapping, list mapping step. So then you can input your list of string types, or you can input your string list here, and then you can map that out to whatever type you need. There's also a mapping step as well. There's also, but that's what these are the steps that you would use here, like the list mapping step, the CSV mapping step, or just the mapping step here.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
Let's see. Let's see, does anyone else have any current questions? If not, I'll go into our pre-submitted question for the day. So our pre-submitted question for the day, I have a form with a checkbox list that contains, oh wait, actually. Yep, okay. Yep, checkbox list that contains limit, lift, address, default, and depending on what user chooses, they should be only able to see that specific section grid. For example, the user selects limit and lift, and they should be able to see the 2-section grids to fill out information. I've created a visibility rule that shows the grid that the user has selected. However, the user chooses more than one option, they all disappear. Is there a way I can fix that? So I believe this from Manal. I don't know if she's on right now. Doesn't look like she's joined, but that would also be something that she needs to configure in the rule. So what she's doing, let's break the lock here. Okay, grab a show form step, pick a form, pick an existing form, test form, this. Okay, so the checkbox list, let's say, we'll just do this with string values, static item list. Let's see, hide grid 1, hide grid 2, hide grid 3. Now just grab some label steps to just sort of make. I'll just call these grid 1. Label number 2. Grid 2. Grid 2. Grid 1. And then we'll just drop it here. Grid 3. So we've got these 3 items here, and we're going to hide these with a visibility rule. So gonna go here. For now, I'm just going to use the legacy visibility rule because that's what we're using, and hide label or hide grid labels. If anything should work, I should be able to hide these just fine. So actually, Manal's on now, actually. There. So I actually have some questions there, Manal. Are you using an action? So you're using a visibility rule. Are you using a visibility rule for each grid, or using visibility rule for one visibility rule for everything? I just realized I spelled label wrong.
Sorry about me coming late. I was having some technical difficulties. But sorry, can you repeat your question?
I'm sorry.
Can you
Oh, yeah.
repeat your question? I apologize.
Yeah. When you're creating these, are you using one visibility rule for all three grids, or are you using separate visibility rules for?
I'm using separate visibility rules for each of them.
Okay. So let's walk through with how you have it set. So let's do create a form rule. So if let's do, so you have this configured to accept a string value, or do you have this on like a Boolean value?
I take on the whole list.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Let's do check or selected check box list. Okay. So select the checkbox list. Next, list contains. Next, let's say grid 1, return true. Okay, update inputs. Pick from form components. Selected test list there. Behavior, hide grid 1. So evaluate when rule evolves to true and hide grid 1. So what is the last thing I need to run in startup? Section change. Okay. So right now I've been configured. Hopefully I have this configured right. If I ignore this and debug this, I hide grid 1 and it doesn't work. So then let's look at this and figure this out. Hide grid 1. All right, so I configured the rule wrong. Let's jump back in it. Okay, done and saved. Okay, save the form. Hop out, debug, hide grid 1, and it's hidden. So we then, okay, so we tested this rule, works fine for the first one. So let's do this. Hide grid 1 label. Let's rename it. Okay, let's add another one. Hide grid 2 label. Let's create a separate rule for this. Just so we're doing the same thing. Selected, check box values. The naming here isn't really important, just that we're correctly pulling in the data here. So then if we do this, yep, contains hide grid 2. Okay, the inputs, shall look at the same list, form components, selected tests, and we're going to configure it the same way. I'm just going to have it hide 2. And Manal, right now, this is how you have it configured, correct?
Yes, I do have like multiple visibility rules. Yes.
Okay, so then let's configure the third rule as well. I'll just call this form rule 2. I know I didn't rename these right, but check box list. Next, list contains hide grid 3. Done. Close it and save it. Done. Update it. Form component data. Text box list. Send this hide 3. So let's debug it now. So hide grid 1, gone. Hide grid 2, gone. Hide grid 3, gone. So this is how we should be. You can hide all three, and this is the behavior that you're looking for, right, Manal? You want to be able to check box and sort of hide separate grids based on what you're selecting here, correct?
Yes. So for example, if they choose, they can also choose multiple. So they can choose 1, 2, and 3.
Mhm.
But that should like show them. So I think or I should maybe do it this way, but like show them all of them, and whichever they select, just hide them, right?
Okay, so you want them to be hidden, but if you select one, um then
They
that
can
value is
see.
shown, correct?
Yes. So that
Okay,
grid shows up. Mhm.
so if that's the case, we should probably just reverse what we have set up by just going, we'll just test it with one real quick. Just gonna flip this to false. And this may work, this may not work, but we'll test it. Nope, this isn't gonna work currently. We'll have to revamp the rule right now. So we want the selected item to be, we want the selected item to be shown. So we should hide everything and then check it.
Yes, whichever item. So for example, if they choose height grid 1, that should show up, and then all the other heights. But if they choose 1 and 2, then 1, 2 should be shown, and then the third should be hidden.
Okay, so then for this, here, selected checkbox list is, let's see. If the list contains, and this is right, if the list contains, it's on hide show. Hide if rule is true. Hide if rule equates to false. So we select it. We don't have a way to just say show if it's enabled. It's only hide if it's enabled. Let me think. No, it should work. So if to the selection, no, actually, we can do this by, run it start up. I bet this is the way to do it. So now, yep, it's hidden. If I select it, it's on. So for these three here, we'll just do the same change. What I did was go back and went back here, went to the label, just run it startup and flip this to false. Yep, run it startup, flip this to false. So that way, when we start the form, these things will automatically evaluate as false, right? And then if I select grid 1, it's there. If I deselect, it's gone. Grid 2, grid 3. And if I want 2 and 3, 2 and 3 are here. If I want 1 and 2, if I want 1 and 3, they'll show up here.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Yep. All you'll need to, yep, you'll just need to make sure that it's essentially because the list that you're coming into at the start is going to be empty. So these should evaluate to false. So then we just have to tell it to hide if it evaluates as false.
Gotcha. And for the apply to controls, you're only hiding the grid that you want to. You're not hiding all the other, just that one. Okay. Gotcha.
Yep.
That makes sense.
In
Perfect.
this case, I'm not using like a full grid. I'm just using I just put labels here to simulate it, but you
Mhm.
should be able to specify your grid there and just hide the grid that you want to hide.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you so much.
Yep, not a problem. Let's see. So I see Jonathan's joined. Jonathan, did you have any questions or did you have anything that you need help with as far as decisions goes? you should be able to come off mute now.
Okay, just ask if I could unmute. Can you hear me?
It sounds like you're muffled. I can hear you a bit.
Sorry. We've had this ongoing question on strategy for how to find a particular field that's being used as a criteria, either in truth tables or rule sets throughout the entire decisions portfolio that we're using. And unfortunately, I keep getting an email from someone trying to set up time who then says they're unavailable. Well, it's like Hold on.
I'm sorry, I'm having really try. It's like you're cutting off. It sounds like you're cutting off anything.
Let me
We're
try.
trying to-
Let me try it again. I just took my keyboard off of my laptop. Maybe that does that make it better?
Yes, much better.
Okay, so I apologize. I have in external messages and decisions.
Mhm.
I think it's in decisions, and I don't know if it's. I think it's tickets that I put it in. It's amazing my folder thing. Faeza,
Mhm.
Fiza. Okay, sorry. I'm not familiar with all these names. One came from Mike Marusha. One
Mhm.
came from Faza,
Yep,
and they
Fiza.
wanted to set up time. And every time I tried to set up, didn't work. Well, I only set up once. I was swamped. So I'm just trying to, whatever this ticket number is, let's see if there's a ticket number associated with this right now. Yeah, it's T049344. And really what I'm trying to do is figure out how I can, or my team can figure out how is the best elegant way to just get a report saying, hey, this particular field, in our case, it's, I believe, segment name, is used in these rule sets across all of our portfolios. So we have 5 portfolios,
Mhm.
auto loan, auto lease, on the Santander consumer side, and then we have retail and commercial on the SB&A side, which is the bank, as well as deposits. And all of those get classified based on particular lines of business. And in this particular case, the people in the loss modeling team want to update the reporting so that it aligns more closely with they think the lines of business are looking for, which I actually think is not accurate, and we're holding off on it now. However, it raised the question, if I need to change something in a available distinct values within the field segment name, where is that being used in all of my rules? And I have yet to figure out something. They really didn't want to address it during the lunch and learns. I don't know if Sachin or Suda are on this call. So hopefully I can just revisit this now. If someone can get back to me, we can set up time and I can get those 2 wonderfully technical people on my side to just figure out what the best practices is for quickly assessing, hey, is this a big deal or is it not a big deal? We've really improved our bank stress testing process by making the data more credible and reliable using decisions. So we're not out there at the last minute trying to re-tag everything because it's wrong. We've really literally improved the performance from 60 days to 45 days because of
Okay.
the decisions, implementing the decisions rules engine. But now when the business wants to change something, I need to make sure that I do that judiciously. And rather than go in and look at each rule and see is segment name being used, there's got to be a way, a report tool that can tell me that. So
Okay.
if we can reach out to Fayez or Mike
Yeah.
and
I'll
have them send me another email, setting up some time. I'm, this one where it's like, I don't see all of my external email messages, and
Mhm.
the individual says, hey, yeah, we can meet at this time. And then I get back 3 hours later and say, yeah, this works for me. And then I look at it 3 hours later and they say, well, that time doesn't work anymore. Can you choose from, it becomes this iterative, infinite exercise. And so maybe it's better that they just say, hey, call me and we'll set up some time, because
Right.
I don't think that
Mm.
that way was actually constructive. It's not their fault. It's just that, I don't always see my external messages on a timely basis. And I wouldn't say it's really hectic right now. We're just doing a
Mhm.
lot of requests for our parent company in Madrid that's highly visible. So it gets a little chaotic, but at least it's controlled chaos rather than a dumpster fire. And
Okay.
so I don't want to take up any more time, but if someone can either send me an email, tell me who to call, we'll set up some time. I gotta
Yeah.
believe it's like a 15-minute conversation with someone who's really familiar with the reporting tool and with where the rules reside, so I can just go look at a particular criteria and see where it's being used in the rules section, the tables. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I'll reach out to Fiza. She did send out something for 3:30 and stuff Thursday, but I'll reach out to her and I'll see if we can at least get something as far as like something you can look at immediately, like as far as like a report on how to do this, or
Sure.
like a call or something like Thursday or something for this.
Just please include Sachin and Suda on those communications. Okay.
Yep, I think they should be on the ticket, but we'll confirm that for you.
And that's pretty much it right now. I wish I had more time to, you know, do more, ask more questions. We're actually using the one thing I like about, well, one of the many things I like about decisions is the forms. Really gives you a front end screen right out of the box. Here, if I want to put in a front end screen in production, I got to go through cybersecurity and DNA swab and whatever else. But because it's in there, once you go through the cybersecurity once for setting up a form and decisions, you don't have to do it all over and over again.
Mhm.
So it's really nice. What I have is many mapping tables out here that I want to implement in decisions, make it easier for us to maintain them and actually let the business define them each month rather than someone in technology. So that's really the next goal here. And then I know that we're not at that stage yet at Santander where you can really do, flow processing, to check the status on something, whether it be, a software support group or whatever. We're just not there yet. But what we're doing, and it's really making a positive difference, is making the data more credible. And so we first started with rules, truth tables. Now we're going to forms. So unfortunately, like I said, the one thing that's going to help us right now to analyze this stuff is a reporting tool, and you guys have reporting tools right out of the box. So just want to take advantage of that. Okay.
Yep, I will definitely get that out to them. We'll get some response to you, and we'll work together to get you a call and get this all squared away for you.
And is it fair that I'm just going to keep showing up to the lunch and learn,
Yep.
and give a 5-minute soapbox or oration, I guess, on where we are, but we're getting close. I mean, just want to get that out of the way. So
Yep.
thank you
no
so
problem.
much. Appreciate it.
Yep. All right. You have a good one.
Okay. Bye now.
Bye. Did anyone else have any questions? Need assistance with decisions? Yeah, I don't think anyone else. Jeremy, if you don't have any questions, I think we're good to end it for today. I think that's good. I want to thank you for joining our lunch and learn again. Tomorrow, come back. I think who's on the docket for tomorrow?
And I believe.
Oh yeah, it's Zendaya. Okay, so she's one of our sales engineers. They're the one in charge of building a lot of our PLCs. So a lot of the cool, fun stuff and decisions she gets to build. So you know, try to stop by and she'll give you something new to look at. You guys have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you so much, Brandon.